Today's most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. Well, grab your rain jackets because the rain is back for most of the day, but hopefully we'll get a nice Friday. Here's Michael with a check on your forecast.
Yeah, Tanya, we're already underway for what we're seeing here, a sliver in the central portion of the 4 states ranging throughout southwest Missouri. Now, remember, we really haven't picked up in earnest. We've got to wait until the afternoon before the thunderstorm activity rolls in on this Thursday morning, simply turning out to be late March showers, and temperatures just about where we started off yesterday, ranging pretty much mid to high 40s. Not going to have a whole lot of movement on that with our heavy cloud cover. All the huge thunderstorm activity is really going to be concentrated right here just on the east side of the Mississippi. As a matter of fact, they're in the elevated portion of the severe thunderstorm risk map. But for our weather trend, you can just tell it just wants to hang around all afternoon long. And once again, it is going to be the afternoon when we see the heavy rain. That's right there at the noon hour, and it just moves in right up I-44. We're going to see a whole lot of rain in southwest Missouri, going to have some flood warnings either be extended or reemerge. And then we finally do get a nice Friday. As Tanya was saying, hey, can we at least get a little rebound? And we will. Temperature is going to be close to, if not at 70 for Friday and Saturday, back off those rain chances a little bit. And then we finish off the weekend and really begin next week in pretty fine fashion with 64 and 67.
All right. Looking forward to a nice Friday. Good start to the weekend, at least. We can make it through today. All right, thanks, Michael. The number of available homes in the area is not keeping up with the demand, making it difficult for some buyers to find their dream home. Charles Burt with Charles Burt Realtors says interest rates are very low right now, making home financing more affordable. But there's no homes to finance, and Burt says 5 years ago they had 1,200 listings for available homes in the area. This year, there's only about 300. Despite all the new construction, Joplin's Planning and Development Director Troy Bolander says space is limited.
Joplin, it is getting tight for residential lots. We do have some residential plats that are coming in and being approved by Zoning Planning Commission and City Council, but the inventory is getting tight in Joplin.
Because of the fact that people can't find existing homes, a lot of them are picking the new construction because then they could have it built. The issue there is that, once again, you can only build them so fast.
Charles Burt also owns Moland Co., a construction company, and he says so far they're keeping pace with the demand for new home construction in the area. Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmitt is running for U.S. Senate. Schmitt announced yesterday that he's making a bid for retiring U.S. Senator Roy Blunt's seat. Schmitt faces a primary against former Missouri Governor Eric Greitens, a former Navy SEAL officer who rose quickly to become governor before scandal forced him out of office just a year and a half into his first term. Schmitt, in a written release, pushed his conservative credentials and rallied against the radical left. Schmitt was appointed Attorney General after Senator Josh Hawley left the seat to join the Senate. Voters gave Schmitt another term as the state's top attorney in 2020. St. Louis community loses a hockey legend. Bob Plager is dead after a 2-vehicle crash yesterday on Interstate 64. Local police say Plager was rushed to a hospital from the scene, but did not survive. The Ontario native was a member of the St. Louis Blues inaugural team during the 1967 season. He suited up for the Blues for 11 of his 14 years in the National Hockey League. After hanging up his skates, Plager still was part of the Blues in various ways, including head coach and special assistant to the general manager. Plager, who ranks 7th in Blues history with 615 games played, was 78 years old. When an Arkansas culinary program shut down due to the pandemic, it shifted its focus, and that shift had a positive impact on the community. Reporter Michael Aaron has that story.
Food Jobs Work is on a mission, one person.
It's a job, and it can be your future.
And now one meal at a time. This is a look inside the kitchen 1 year ago.
Normally, what we do is a 6-week training program for at-risk adults, mostly people coming out of incarceration, but we also serve people who have been homeless or in poverty or addiction or anything where they need a hand up.
It prepares them for jobs in hospitality and food service And not long after we shot this video,
We had to shut that down in March, unfortunately a week before one class was graduating.
Executive Director Christy Eisen says that was heartbreaking, but ultimately came as a blessing of sorts.
We were able to spend some time developing the social enterprises that we never had a chance to do when we were so busy with our training program.
One of those, a community meals program.
And that's where we serve people in shelters or churches or food pantries that are serving people in need.
Food that leaves this kitchen and goes out to a community in need.
And this is the veggies.
Lauren McCants is production chef. Just days into the program, she and Christy are making about 600 meals each week.
We just want to provide healthy options for them so that, people are struggling so desperately, and anything that we can do to help.
And soon they hope to welcome back their students who will continue their training right here.
Teaching them some new skills that maybe they'll get the application of what they learn in class, and also getting them used to a regular work schedule, so then by the time they're done with us, they're ready to go out and get a job in the real world.
Again, that was Michael Aaron reporting. Arvest Bank yesterday announced branch reconfiguration as part of its reconfiguration. Arvest will close 31 of the bank's 270 plus branch locations this summer. The bank also plans to deploy 38 additional ATMs with live teller machines throughout its network. These machines allow customers to have face-to-face communication with Arvest tellers via a video screen and complete more types of transactions than a traditional ATM. They also offer standard ATM capabilities 24 hours a day. You can go to our website at koamnewsnow.com to see the full list of bank closings. It's 5:07.
Heaviest rain yet to arrive. Here is where we stand right now at the 5 o'clock hour. But remember, we are a long way from over. Temperatures going to be in the 50s today, and we're going to ramp up here as we approach the noon hour. Heavy rain is going to bring us some thunder and lightning, carry us through the afternoon hours before it finally pushes out. Still going to roll that. I'll up the time frame here a little bit as far as it's going. It's going to be a wet one, but as far as when it really begins to pour. Let's go from about noon to 6. So let's take yesterday and bump it up an hour. Let's go noon to 6 there as it rolls through. After we push it out, it's going to be a delightful end of the work week. We just got to get through today and try to stay dry.
Look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the NEO wrestling team is in its final stretch of the season. We'll hear from the team on how they're hoping this season will end with another national title. Plus, parents are worried that increased screen time throughout the pandemic is leading to an increased risk for cyberbullying. And it's International Waffle Day. There are many ways to celebrate, but not all people like waffles. So for our Something to Talk About, we're asking, what is your favorite breakfast food? You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
The Crowder College Rough Riders are one of the hottest and best teams in the entire country right now. And they're getting it done with the long ball. Our own Danny Terzer with a Rough Riders story.
Behind Crowder's 19-4 record is an unstoppable offense.
We're getting the big swings right now, and that's awesome. But, when the wind's blowing in, we've played some of those games as well and still produce runs. We're a pretty complete offense.
The Rough Riders are on an 11-game winning streak.
Obviously on the scoreboard we've been setting ourselves apart, and we're starting to separate ourselves, win column and all that.
The Rough Riders have scored 10 or more runs in over half their games this season.
We're not much of a small ball group, We're dependent upon guys having good two-strike at-bats and driving in runs.
We also have to give a lot of credit to our bullpen guys because they've been coming in and keeping the game where it's at in their situations, and that allows us to come in and do what we need to production-wise offensively. That's been allowing us to win these games.
Their philosophy is straightforward. Be a good hitter on one pitch.
90% of the time when we put up big innings, there's a two-strike at-bat that somebody wins involved in that.
When you walk into the plate, what the guy did before you, if it's quality, it helps you in that at-bat, and it gives you a little confidence when you step in there knowing you can succeed.
A Adaptability has been key.
When we failed, we learned from those failures early on in the season, and that's what I'm proud of them for, is taking those failures and making sure that they don't continue to happen as the season goes on, and we've turned them into a lot of success recently.
In the O Show, Danny Terzer, KOAM Sports.
All right, so Crowder back in action this weekend, hosting a 4-game series against Three Rivers Community College. NEO wrestling team is in its final stretch of the season right now. Get this, number 4 in the nation in the junior college national rankings. For the Norsemen, this year's been everything but normal, but they're also hoping it ends with another national title.
It's been a late and abbreviated season for NEO wrestling, but the end goal is the same as always.
We're always looking for the national championship, and that's the first thing we talk about when they get on campus, and that's the last thing we talk about whenever they leave campus.
That's where we're wanting to be. That's where we're wanting to be.
We're shooting for the national title, whether it's districts, whether it's regionals, whether it's just a regular open tournament or a duel. I mean, we shoot to win.
The Norsemen have only competed in about half the number of competitions of a normal regular season due to the pandemic.
We really haven't been able to find that groove yet with our practices because it's just so sporadic.
It's really hard to replicate live matches in a practice room.
See how you feel better? Because that outside foot was already open.
It's hard to get a groove going. It's hard to find your momentum and keep running with that during that situation, but they're working through it. Everybody's in the same thing though. Nobody's any different. Nobody's got a competitive edge in this situation.
The NJCAA has canceled district championships scheduled for next week. That leaves the 7-time defending district champs without what is normally their final tune-up before nationals.
It's going to affect us a lot. I mean, normally our last competition is our regional competition. 2 weeks later, we're at the national tournament. Not having that situation in front of us, it's going to be different. We're going to have to figure out ways to manipulate our full potential.
Yeah, I know it doesn't feel right now, but we're in attack position right now.
With no qualifying tournament, nationals will have a different feel.
Everybody that wants to go can take 1 wrestler per weight, and so everybody qualifies.
It's really going to be a shot in the dark. I don't know whether my bracket will be bigger. It might even be smaller. Just we don't know how many teams are going to be able to show up to nationals.
And when I'm moving him, now I have my shot.
We've got a good group of guys, and they're working really hard, and so I think that they're understanding that this is kind of the final push here.
That's perfect. Stay up on your feet.
Is it fun?
Yeah, that's perfect.
We'll see if we made mistakes or if the mistakes were too big, and we'll reevaluate it at the end of the year.
The Junior College Wrestling National Championships take place April 21st, and they're held in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Still to come on the KOAM Morning News, one of the world's most active trade routes shut down. How a container ship is to blame for stopping billions with a B, billions of dollars of goods. And to check on our 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Just moved past 5:17 on this Thursday morning. We've got the barometer that's a-falling. We got the humidity that's increasing. And we're going to have some thunderstorms pretty much all day long. Temperatures right now, not too bad, mid to high 40s for the most part. But as you can tell, there's a whole lot of activity down to the south, and that's where ours is originating from. The heavier stuff, and we'll do the severe thunderstorm risk map here in just a second. It's really pushing off already to the east of the Mississippi. What we've got for us is throughout southwest Missouri right there, but we've got more kicking in northeast Oklahoma, and that's why it just keeps on rolling at us all day long. On top of that, the flood warning for the Osage River up in southwest Missouri has been extended once again. Tack on another 12 hours to it from what we did have it at. Now it's Saturday night, and no surprise when we overlay the radar, you can tell there's additional rainfall on it as we speak. But once again, this is what we'll pay attention to. This is going to be the national weather maker, because that has resulted in not only the elevated and high category, that's pretty much imminent for severe thunderstorms as far as what they'll have. And it'll just be around the noon hour when they get theirs. It's not going to be one of those that they have to wait very long for it. Winds have shifted, now almost moving in from the east-northeast, if you will, and that really takes quite a difference as far as our temperatures go. We'll go high 40s, low 50s. That's as good as we're going to see on this Thursday. Really picking up around late morning, noon hour as it continues to roll in from the south. That's going to be some heavy rain along with lightning and thunder. Remember, we're just in the marginal area on the severe thunderstorm risk map. Ours is just going to be trying to stay dry. coming off of the saturated ground that we have. And then really by Friday, say, or tonight into say 7, 8 o'clock, everything's off to the east. We roll into Friday. We're going to be just fine. Clouds are going to come and go on Friday, but at least we'll begin a little bit of a warm up here as our temperature is going to push in to the high 60s, if not 70s on Friday and Saturday. So once again, key is just to stay dry today. This morning, you have the opportunity to win some prizes for watching the KOM Morning News. It is the second day of our spring break sweepstakes. So as you're watching the show, be on the lookout for the code word. Now, once the code word's been announced, you go to komnewsnow.com/code word, enter it, and that is your chance to win a prize from our good friends at Indigo Sky Casino. You'll want to make sure you enter before the KOM Morning News on Fox 14 ends at 8 a.m. Now remember, if you miss it today, we still got one more shot at it Friday with a brand new code word. Time now to turn our attention to the KOM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll. It's International Waffle Day. Now, I could make it up. Plenty of ways to celebrate making your own waffles at home, going out to a restaurant. Maybe you like that. Maybe you like chicken and waffles, you know? There's waffle eating contests today, I understand. August 24th is National Waffle Day. Remember, we're International Waffle Day because the KOM Morning News, there are portions of Eastern Europe that we're big in. So that's why I go international on it. It's the anniversary of the first U.S. patent for a waffle iron. It was issued to a gentleman by the name of Cornelius. It's Swartwout. The script says Swarth. Out. It's actually, his name is Swartwout. Just a header. It's kind of known. All right, our question to you, what's your favorite breakfast food? You can jump on the KOM News Now Facebook page, let us know, or take part in our Insta poll, komnewsnow.com/vote. Be back with Healthwatch next.
Topping Healthwatch this morning, throughout the pandemic, many children have spent more time on devices, either for virtual school or social activities, or while their parents are working. But that increased screen time also increases risk for cyberbullying. Mandy Gaither has the signs to spot.
From virtual learning to social media, children and teens are surrounded by technology, especially during the pandemic, and it's not always a good thing.
There's no escape from cyberbullying because it follows you home, because your technology follows you home.
Angie Boy with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta's Stephanie V. Blank Center for Safe and Healthy Children says cyberbullying is using any electronic means to intimidate, harass, threaten, or demean a person.
Children have higher levels of anxiety, higher levels of depression as a result of dealing with cyberbullying, which can then have an impact on their behaviors as they continue to age.
There are cyberbullying signs to spot. Your child may not be using their device as much or don't go to the same apps. They may try to hide the screen when an adult is around or avoid social situations with certain friend groups.
Those are red flags that you want to follow up on with your child.
Boy says to set technology rules for how long and when they're allowed to be on, and the biggest advice she can give:
have open conversations with your child. You want to know where they're going online. Who are they talking to? What apps are they using? You want to have their usernames and passwords and make sure that you're checking in on them pretty routinely.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Parents should also stay up to date on the latest technology, how to use it, and what apps are available so you know what your child is using. Exercise appears to be just as effective as drugs at treating depression in dementia patients. A report in the British Medical Journal found non-drug treatments like exercise or massage therapy work just as well or even better than medications among dementia patients suffering from depression or loneliness. Eating just 1 cup of green leafy vegetables a day could make a big difference to your health. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition finds that people who ate more nitrates from vegetables had significantly better muscle function. Poor muscle function is linked to greater risk of falls and is considered a key indicator of health. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
As we progress through Thursday, it is going to be thunderstorm laden as well. We'll have sunrise here at, say, 7:14, but it's overcast. For the most part, we just need to be on our toes and try to stay dry because it is a T-storm Thursday. Rain will ease up as we get into the afternoon and evening hours. Best shot's really going to be from, say, noon to 5 or 6 o'clock. And then we just got to sit back, wait for some sunshine to arrive on Friday with warmer temperatures. That will actually be nice when those are up there because Friday and Saturday, we're going to be sitting close to 70 degrees. So that's going to be, excuse me, pretty nice. Now we'll go light scattered rain shots on over the weekend on Friday and Saturday. Sunday, mid-60s, sunshine, and then guess what next week is? More rain on the way.
Housing demands are going up in Joplin. Despite new construction, the city can't keep up. Plus, Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt is running for U.S. Senate. And a local hockey legend dies after a two-vehicle crash.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. Grab your rain jackets because the rain is back for most of the day today. But don't worry, it's going to clear off this evening. And hopefully we'll get a nice start to the weekend. Here's Michael with a check on your forecast.
It's not too bad this morning. Rolling through southwest Missouri, our rain has just amounted to Thursday morning showers, but we're a long way from being over, as Tanya mentioned. It's going to take an entire afternoon before we begin to clear off. Temperatures ranging from the mid to high 40s. Yet to see anybody roll up to the 50s. This is going to be the area of the U.S. that's really going to be affected by the severe weather today. Even tornado threats down once again for the Gulf Coast, coming off of what they just experienced, what was that, 10 days ago. So let's be fortunate that ours moves up from Texas and Oklahoma and just amounts to thunderstorms. We'll take that compared to what they're having. Our weather trend for today, high 40s. More importantly, it is our length of rain that sticks around from noon, say, to about 5, 6 o'clock. Starts off light, what we're seeing now. But now, as it comes out of Oklahoma, that's where we start to see the heavier rain. Combine that with some lightning as it comes through noon hour, looking pretty much all-encompassing. And then rolling out to the east, but hanging on just in time for that drive home is really not all the way done until, say, 6, 7 o'clock. After that, clearing skies, and not a bad weekend after we get rid of today's rain, as we'll be able to just do scattered shots on Friday and Saturday. But look at our temperature increase all the way up close to, if not into the 70s for the next 240. I was going to go next 2 days, and then I combined that with 48 hours. And I just about made it 48 hours too, which is actually a bad Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte movie, because the first one was much, much better.
I'll take your word for that.
You didn't see 48 hours too?
No, I did not.
Gotcha.
So I shouldn't.
You were a smart one.
Okay. Well, I'll remember that. All right, thanks, Michael. The number of available homes in the area is not keeping up with the demand, making it difficult for some buyers to find their dream home. Charles Burt with Charles Burt Realtors says interest rates are very low right now, making home financing more affordable. But there's no homes to finance. And Burt says 5 years ago they had 1,200 listings for available homes in the area. This year there's only about 300. Despite all the new construction, Joplin's Planning and Development Director Troy Bolander says space is limited.
And it is getting tight for residential lots. We do have some residential plats that are coming in and being approved by Zoning Planning Commission, City Council, but the inventory is getting tight in Joplin.
Because of the fact that people can't find existing homes, a lot of them are picking the new construction because then they could have it built. The issue there is that, once again, you can only build them so fast.
Charles Burt also owns Moland Co., a construction company, and he says so far they're keeping pace with the demand for new home construction in the area. Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt is running for U.S. Senate. Schmidt announced yesterday that he's making a bid for retiring U.S. Senator Roy Blunt's seat. Schmidt faces a primary against former Missouri Governor Eric Greitens, a former Navy SEAL officer who rose quickly to become governor before scandal forced him out of office just a year and a half into his first term. Schmidt, in a written release, pushed his conservative credentials and rallied against the radical left. Schmidt was appointed Attorney General after Senator Josh Hawley left the seat to join the Senate. Voters gave Schmidt another term as the state's top attorney in 2020. St. Louis community loses a hockey legend. Bob Plager is dead after a two-vehicle crash yesterday on Interstate 64. Local police say Plager was rushed to a hospital from the scene, but did not survive. The Ontario native was a member of the St. Louis Blues inaugural team during the 1967 season. He suited up for the Blues for 11 of his 14 years in the National Hockey League. After hanging up his skates, Plager still was part of the Blues in various ways, including as head coach and special assistant to the general manager. Plager, who ranks 7th in Blues history with 615 games played, was 78 years old. With mask mandates ending across the country and in our region, businesses are left dealing with another problem, whether to continue enforcing their own mask rules. And that includes one business in Edmond, Oklahoma, that's never operated without a mask mandate in place. Brittany Toulis has that story.
We use data metrics to put these mask ordinances in place, and you've got to use it to remove them.
As of 12:01 a.m. Tuesday, masks are no longer required to eat, shop, or enter a government building in Edmond, a first for Commonplace Books, which opened up back in October.
Mask mandates were always in place for the last several months as we've done business here in downtown Edmond, and so this is a new territory.
Now, if you are out and about in downtown Edmond, officials say to make sure you keep a mask handy, because it's now up to business owners to determine whether or not customers have to mask up.
For the foreseeable future, we'll continue to wear masks in the space.
Knuckles says he expects most customers will follow the lead of the people working inside.
People tend to follow kind of house rules without being, required. My kids know to take their shoes off in the garage before they come in the house. Why do they know to do that? Because I've taken my shoes off first.
The positivity rate in Edmond has been below 5% for the last week. But health officials say one concern about the expired mask mandate is the people who traveled during spring break. We won't see those effects right away.
We will see if that's going to occur. The last day of spring break was Sunday. So we'll see that within the next 10 to 14 days.
Even though there's no ordinance in place, following CDC guidelines is a safe bet.
That's obviously social distancing, frequent sanitization, and masks are encouraged. They're not mandated or required, but they are definitely still encouraged.
Again, that was Brittany Toulis reporting. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Shrimp tails and the Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal? Yeah, not your usual breakfast combo. Plus, efforts are underway to refloat a container ship that's blocking the Suez Canal. We'll have the latest there, but first, it's 5:37.
It will range between 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch of rain here on what we're calling a thunderstorm Thursday, as it will roll in from the south. Really picks up around the late morning, noon hour, and we're going to have to ride this one out all afternoon long. There's a heavy rain coming down there for the afternoon. Pushes out by the evening, and then we're right back up into the high 60s, low 70s for Friday and Saturday. Today's not only going to have thunderstorms, it's going to be chilly as well. Look at that, all the way down into the mid-50s. Be back with World Watch after this.
Topping World Watch, it's an image that's going viral, but the story behind the picture is creating some serious issues for businesses around the world. A massive ship is stuck in the Suez Canal, completely blocking it and shutting down one of the world's most active trade routes. Elise Preston shows us how the run-aground vessel is to blame for stopping billions of dollars of goods.
It's an image shocking the world. A 224-ton container ship nearly as long as the Empire State Building is tall, lodged sideways in the Suez Canal. It's forcing a major traffic jam in one of the world's most critical waterways. The Suez Canal's strategic location is a major trade route between Africa, Asia, and Europe. More than $3 billion worth of cargo pass through this Egyptian channel every day. But today, ships carrying everything from medical equipment, oil, and food can't get through. The pandemic is already to blame for weakening trade.
We're already seeing evidence that ships are starting to gather at the entrances to the canal, both ends, and so that process, that logjam, is starting to grow as every hour that passes.
The chaos started Tuesday when the 1,300-foot Panama flag ship, the Ever Given, ran aground.
We don't know yet exactly what happened. There's reports of some failures of equipment, but that's denied by the company itself. There's other reports of a strong gust of wind.
Now, crews on smaller tugboats are trying to free the vessel.
She's longer than the canal is wide. And so she's jammed in there pretty good. And so it's going to be very difficult to pull her off.
The canal service provider says at least 150 ships are waiting for the Ever Given to be cleared. Elise Preston, CBS News.
What a mess. Ships may now have to go around the coast of Africa to continue on their journeys. This is actually the second major crash in recent years for the Ever Given, one of the largest container ships in the world. In 2019, the ship ran into a small ferry in Germany. Brazil on Tuesday recorded more than 3,200 deaths due to COVID-19. This is the highest daily death toll since the pandemic began. It is also the first time the country has posted more than 3,000 coronavirus-related deaths in one day. That's according to the country's health ministry. Brazil's death toll is now nearly at 300,000. The previous record of highest daily deaths came only last week. Additionally, more than 82,000 new COVID-19 cases were reported across the country. Brazil has registered more than 12 million cases since the start of the pandemic. Preliminary results discover fine wine can travel even into orbit. Researchers in Bordeaux are analyzing a dozen bottles of very pricey Chateau Petrus Pomerol. The wine spent a year on board the International Space Station, along with more than 300 snippets of Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon vines. Scientists say weightlessness did not ruin the wine, and being in space seemed to allow the vines to grow faster. This work is part of a long-term effort to make plants on Earth more resilient to climate change and disease by exposing them to new stressors and to better understand the wine aging process. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Let's toss it over to Michael for our Something to Talk About.
Wait till we get the results of our Insta poll here, Tanya. This is classic. This is classic. Because today is International Waffle Day. Okay. I couldn't make that part up. Our question is, what's your favorite breakfast food? All right, so Dave Sorek says, anything I can spread with crunchy peanut butter. Dave says waffles are great with PB, locally sourced honey, and now Dave's going to get his coffee. Make it a double, Dave. I'll join you. Michael Arrowwood says waffles are good, but Michael goes with eggs Benny. That sounds real good right now, too. Mm-hmm. That sounds real good. Have a blessed day, everyone. You as well, Michael. Guy Hansen, waffles keep America safe. Build the waffle. That's well played, Guy. Rocky Cunningham says ain't nothing better than a big old bowl of grits with an obscene amount of butter, lots of salt and pepper, and whatever you do, don't forget the Tabasco generously, if you please. Love you, Aunt Pat. And Fred Sipes with the good old biscuits and gravy. Now, about this whole Instapoll thing. It's International Waffle Day. Check it. Goose egg. Nobody.
Nobody likes waffles.
I know nobody. Pancakes are looking at waffles like, get out of this room. We own this place. I'm kind of leaning toward who was that with the eggs Benny? That sounds real good right now.
Like a little cinnamon French toast.
What was that, shrimp with the...
Well, that's coming up. A couple segments.
That was terrible.
That's shrimp tails in your cereal.
All right, that's a tease. Find out next.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. President Biden is set to hold the first news conference of his presidency this afternoon. CBS News will air a special report covering the event from the White House. In addition to the pandemic, it's likely the president will face questions about the economy, the border crisis, and gun control. A new AstraZeneca report out Wednesday has updated the data on how well its coronavirus vaccine works. The drug giant now says its vaccine is 76% effective in preventing symptomatic disease and 100% effective against severe or critical disease or the need for hospitalization. AstraZeneca says its vaccine is 85% effective in preventing symptoms in volunteers ages 65 and older. The number of available homes in the area is not keeping up with the demand, making it difficult for some buyers to find their dream home. Charles Burt with Charles Burt Realtor says interest rates are very low right now, making home financing more affordable. But there's no homes to finance. Burt says 5 years ago they had 1,200 listings for available homes in the area. This year there's only about 300. Despite all the new construction, Joplin's Planning and Development Director Troy Bolander says space is limited. St. Louis community loses a hockey legend. Bob Plager is dead after a two-vehicle crash yesterday on Interstate 64. Local police say Plager was rushed to a hospital from the scene, but did not survive. The Ontario native was a member of the St. Louis Blues inaugural team during the 1967 season. He suited up for the Blues for 11 of his 14 years in the National Hockey League. After hanging up his skates, Plager still was part of the Blues in various ways, including head coach and as special assistant to the general manager. Plager, who ranks 7th in Blues history with 615 games played, was 78 years old. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Showers this morning, thunderstorms going to replace that as we get around the late morning noon hour. Going to get some heavy rain to come down with that, with temperatures only in the high 40s, low 50s. Finally pushing off toward the east, but not doing so until we get to about 7, 8 o'clock. Back into the high 60s and 70s Friday and Saturday. All the latest on the Skywatch weather app.
It's one of the most popular brands in America, but what a California man found in his Cinnamon Toast Crunch has made him lose his appetite for his formerly favorite cereal. And now the manufacturer is advising him to call the police. Janine Moose reports.
It's not your usual breakfast combo. Jensen Karp says he found 2 crustaceans that would have made his Cinnamon Toast Crunch even crunchier.
But that is obviously shrimp tail. I ate a bowl and then poured it out and saw the shrimp. Like I had already eaten one full one.
And thus began the shrimp tale that mesmerized the internet, inspiring cereal mock-ups, and Captain Crunch sprinkling shrimp in what was jokingly described as clearly a case of corporate sabotage. Jensen sent a photo of the alleged shrimp to General Mills' Twitter account. The company offered to replace the box.
I definitely don't want another cereal.
Next, the company said it appears to be an accumulation of the cinnamon sugar that sometimes can occur when ingredients aren't thoroughly blended.
Which is insane.
He wrote back, "Okay, well, after further investigation with my eyes, these are cinnamon-coated shrimp tails, you weirdos." Someone even offered an anatomical breakdown of shrimp body parts. And then Jensen noticed black stuff toasted into some of the flakes.
It just became grosser. I ate whatever's on those squares. I have to go get those tested.
General Mills issued a statement. "We can say with confidence that this did not occur at our facility." They also emailed Jensen saying, "If you are unwilling to send the items and cereal packaging to us, please provide these items to your local law enforcement." Jensen said he had bought a 2-pack at Costco, and without even opening the second one, he found...
And I'll put it, but it's right here, so...
what looks like dental floss. Jensen says it's possible the second package was taped shut on the bottom, but he can't really tell. Costco didn't respond to CNN.
It's such a bummer because Cinnamon Toast Crunch is literally the only cereal I eat. Like, it's my favorite since I was a kid.
The Los Angeles podcaster and comedian even owns this t-shirt.
It just says Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Some were reminded of that scene in Forrest Gump.
There's pineapple shrimp, lemon shrimp, coconut shrimp.
And now, allegedly, Cinnamon Toast Crunch shrimp.
I've completely lost my appetite. I know how much you love shrimp and crawfish and stuff like that, but...
I had shrimp Alfredo for breakfast.
Yeah, but you probably didn't put it in your cereal bowl with the cereal.
No, I had it with pasta and Alfredo sauce. That's why I aptly named it. As I was eating it yesterday, I'm like, what if I call this shrimp Alfredo?
Shrimpavera. Is that your favorite breakfast?
Do you know the story behind Eggs Benedict?
No, please enlighten.
That's a crazy one. No, there's like 5 people that claim that they created it.
Oh, really?
Well, I'm trying to, this is terrible because I can't remember who sent the Eggs Benny one. I'll look it up. But when that came in on the Facebook page, I got to thinking, it's just kind of one of those weird things. Yeah, there's like 5 people that claim they created Eggs Benedict.
It's so big. Yeah.
Nobody with the name of Benedict is the best part of it. Extra crunch.
I'm trying to cover it up so I don't have to look at it. There we go.
Can I talk about happier things?
Yes, because this morning you have the opportunity to win a big prize just for watching.
Continue. Oh, wait. Ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Tanya, go on.
It is the second day of our spring break sweepstakes.
Tell me more.
As you're watching, be on the lookout for a specific code word this morning. Once this code word is announced, all you have to do is hop on to KOAMnewsnow.com/code word and enter that word for your chance to win a prize from Indigo Sky Casino. You want to make sure you enter that word before the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 ends at 8 a.m. That's the deadline to put it in, 8 a.m. If you miss it today, don't worry, you'll get another shot tomorrow with a brand new code word.
It's been light this morning with temperatures in the mid to high 40s, and we're not going to see much movement on that. But remember, this is what we're eyeballing as the thunderstorm activity kicks in here in the next 2 hours, lasts till about 5, 6 o'clock tonight. We'll be back right after this.
Housing demands are going up in Joplin. Despite new construction, the city can't keep up. Plus, Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt is running for U.S. Senate. And a local hockey legend dies after a 2-vehicle crash.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. Be sure to grab your rain jacket or an umbrella today because you're going to need it for most of the day. But good news after that. Here's Michael.
More?
Your rain slicker?
Yeah. Am I showing my age? Yeah, so you're saying, Michael, don't use that, especially like around your kids, because
Be
they're
sure
just
to
going
grab your rain slicker.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't know if that was a regional word, if it was a like generation word.
It's a generation.
Got it. So is that on the list of old man sayings that I give out? Could you add it to your list?
I should add it.
Anyway, quick background. Tanya has a list of old man sayings that have left my mouth in the course of the time that we've worked together, and she likes to check them off as I say them. And so evidently rain slicker just made the list. Yes. I try not to disappoint you with my old man sayings, Tanya. I try to do my best. That's why I keep the white hair, right? Barometers have fallen, humidity is rising because we've got Thursday morning rain. Hasn't been anything serious as of yet. No storm reports to talk about, but we're simply going to keep increasing the not only intensity, but also pick up on the thunder and lightning as we get closer to the noon hour. 46 in Miami and Lamar, 47 in Neosho, and 48 in Oswego. So it is a little chilly outside, everything moving in from the Gulf. This portion of the U.S., just on the east side of the Mississippi, is where we'll have the severe thunderstorm action as far as the contiguous 48 goes. We just sit in that marginal level, and our biggest threat is just going to be the amount of rain that we pick up. We're not looking at any hail or anything of that nature. It gives you an idea what they're looking at east of Mississippi here in just the next hour or two. And then as ours roll through, there's our heavy rain. We've still got flood warning there for the Osage River, and it's raining over the Osage right now, and that's why those flood warnings very well could be extended. Going to get rid of it, say about 7, 8 o'clock tonight. It'll push off to the east. Then it's actually going to be delightful scattered showers. Just slight chance on Friday and Saturday. But look at our temperatures, 69 and 70 there for the next 2 days after we get through today. Just don't forget your rain slicker.
Yeah, don't forget that rain slicker. It's
Or
a good
your-
idea to keep it in your car, so you always have it handy.
There's a couple other old man sayings I could go with, but I'm going to save them for a rainy day.
All right, the number of available homes in the area is not keeping up with the demand, making it difficult for some buyers to find their dream home. 53 new home permits have been issued so far for the 2021 fiscal year in Joplin. That's compared to a total of 45 for the entire 2020 year. As KOAM's Chris Warner explains, despite the new construction, it's just not keeping up with the demand for new housing.
Charles Burt of Charles Burt Realtors says the market in Joplin is good, with many prospective buyers looking for new homes in the area. But that good market is creating a problem.
The problem that we're running up against is that there's just so many buyers out there and not enough listings. Listings have just plummeted, mainly because they've been sold. And so we're in the mid 300s right now as far as available homes, where I would say 5 years ago it was probably 1,200.
That's talking existing homes, which Burt says are like gold right now.
They're into multiple offer situations. Everything that comes on the market has 5 to 10 buyers for it. So it's almost like a bidding situation for any new home. So I don't think I've ever remembered that, and I've been in the business 51 years.
However, the lack of available homes has led to a boom in another industry.
Because of the fact that people can't find existing homes, a lot of them are picking the new construction because then they could have it built. The issue there is that, once again, you can only build them so fast.
Joplin City Planner Troy Bolander says that boom comes with its own problem.
Joplin, it is getting tight for residential lots. We do have some residential plats that are coming in and being approved by Zoning Planning Commission and City Council, but the inventory is getting tight in Joplin.
And Burt says there's a problem within that problem.
It's then becoming a problem that our prices have just accelerated. Lumber prices have over doubled in the last probably 6 months to a year, which is amazing. I've never had that happen.
In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt is running for U.S. Senate. Schmidt announced yesterday that he's making a bid for retiring U.S. Senator Roy Blunt's seat. Schmidt faces a primary against former Missouri Governor Eric Greitens, a former Navy SEAL officer who rose quickly to become governor before scandal forced him out of office just a year and a half into his first term. Schmidt, in a written release, pushed his conservative credentials and rallied against the radical left. Schmidt was appointed Attorney General after Senator Josh Hawley left the seat to join the Senate. Voters gave Schmidt another term as the state's top attorney in 2020. St. Louis community loses a hockey legend. Bob Plager is dead after a two-vehicle crash yesterday on Interstate 64. Local police say Plager was rushed to a hospital from the scene, but did not survive. The Ontario native was a member of the St. Louis Blues inaugural team during the 1967 season. He suited up for the Blues for 11 of his 14 years in the National Hockey League. After hanging up his skates, Plager still was part of the Blues in various ways, including head coach and special assistant to the general manager. Plager, who ranks 7th in Blues history with 615 games played, was 78 years old. Authorities in Oklahoma arrest a suspect after he allegedly gave chase in a Frito-Lay's truck. The chase that started near Oklahoma City went on for about 75 miles. Authorities say during the chase, the suspect swerved toward officers multiple times, trying to drive them off the road. The chase ended just south of Enid, Oklahoma, when the truck's tires went flat.
I would love to know the motivation of stealing a truck that's very, very easy to spot and that doesn't go very fast.
That's a good point. No one was hurt in the chase. At last report, authorities had not filed formal charges. 6:07.
No, you can't read that story and then pitch it over to me and expect me to have a straight face. And it's a serious story and a crime's been committed and he was trying to hurt people.
Maybe he was just trying to get his munch on and he thought there'd be lots of chips in there.
Did you just use the phrase, get your munch on?
I did. We've been talking about breakfast foods and cereal with crustaceans in it.
Us old people, we don't say things like that. We do like us some Frito-Lays, though.
Just gotta make sure you fill up your bellies.
Oh, who was it? James Jacobs in his Facebook post the other day. He was like, "Where's your banter?" And you and I we've just evidently thrown caution to the wind today. Take that. That's for you, James. We brought it back for you. All right, light Thursday morning rain, but we know we've got thunderstorm activity headed our way. Give it a couple hours here. We're really going to pick up. Everything moves in from the south. Heavy rain, temperatures stuck in the 40s, and it's going to last all the way into the evening hours. Tanya?
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, looking your best.
The pandemic is leading a new kind of customer to the makeup market. I'm Naomi Ruckham with why men are more willing to try out cosmetics.
Plus, there's certain side effects to be expected after receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. What should you be on the lookout for? And our own Jesse Irwin brings us another Midday Thursday. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. In Money Watch this morning, hours of virtual meetings every day have professionals trying to look their best on camera. And now the makeup industry has a new target customer, men. Naomi Ruckham explains.
Hi there. Between Zoom meetings and virtual home showings, real estate broker Ben Dixon gets a lot of FaceTime these days.
I think being on the Zoom calls is essentially being in front of the mirror for a couple of hours a day. So obviously we're going to focus on what we look like a little more than we normally would.
So after seeing ads on Instagram, he decided to try out makeup for men.
Don't want to look like I'm wearing a lot of makeup.
Where do you use the concealer?
Just under my eyes here, and maybe if I have a little redness or something at the top of my cheeks.
But we're not talking like eyeliner, mascara, full makeup.
No.
Marketing firm Moz says Google searches for men's makeup looks jumped nearly 80% last year compared to 2019. That's helped new male cosmetics company Strix, which now has products in thousands of CVS stores.
We are here today where we would have been in like 5 years had it not been for the lockdowns and quarantines and things like that. So I definitely think we've accelerated this trend.
For men who've never worn makeup, learning how to apply it may feel a bit daunting. But there are thousands of tutorials available online, and women with years of experience may also be a good resource.
The manliest men on earth are all wearing makeup for TV appearances, movies, to fix up a blemish before the red carpet, whatever it is. Show me a manly man and I'll show you a guy that's worn makeup.
For Ben, it's a quick addition to his daily routine.
Try it a few times and just see how you feel. If it makes you feel better, why not?
And he says if it's still not for you, you can just wash it off. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
In an effort to get more men comfortable with the idea of buying and using makeup, male cosmetic companies like Strix use discreet packaging. At drugstores, the male cosmetic lines are typically found near men's razors and skincare rather than the women's makeup aisle. Michael will be joining you with weather in a minute, but first he's reapplying his own makeup. A classic Easter egg with an Oreo-inspired twist. I had to do it, Michael. Sorry.
I was actually making sure my galoshes were ready for my slicker.
Oreo has cookies and cream eggs. That's awesome. Back in 2019, the cookie maker released similar eggs with a chocolate covering, but these new tiny bite-sized candies are made entirely of small cookies and cream pieces. They're likely only available for a limited time, so you might want to fill up your Easter basket now. And the votes are in. There's a new Cadbury bunny for the first time ever. An amphibian is inheriting the ears. What? Betty the Australian white tree frog will represent Cadbury this year. She'll also star in the Clucking Bunny commercial coming soon. Betty's already featured in a brief sneak peek. Oh. Okay. Betty beat out 12,000 other entries, including a donkey, a miniature horse, and a goat. That's it for Money Watch. Michael did not have time to apply his makeup, so.
But I got my galoshes.
There he is. He's not going to be on camera for this, but he will tell you about the big prize that's coming up.
No idea why she was making fun of me during that makeup segment. I didn't do anything to her, that's for sure. Sit here and try to keep up with her. I'm not the best looking, but Can I get a standby next time? It didn't work coming out commercial there. Got the opportunity to win some big prizes just for watching the KOAM Morning News. I hope you're not offended by us having a good time around here. It is the second day of our spring break sweepstakes. Now, as you're watching this morning, just be on the lookout for what we call the code word. And once the code word's been announced, just hop on koamnewsnow.com/code word and enter it for your chance to win a prize from our good friends at Indigo Sky Casino. You want to make sure that you enter before our KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 concludes, so make sure that you get your word in by 8 a.m. If you miss it today, no bigs. Have another shot at it Friday with a brand new code word. As we progress toward a future track here, let's take a look at our temperatures for the next 24 hours, as we're just going to be stuck in the high 40s. So not a whole lot we can do about that. And one thing we're just sitting back and waiting for is what's a-coming later this afternoon with thunderstorm activity as it works up from the south right there. It's going to pack a little bit more of a punch than what we're currently seeing. Our rain so far has been relatively light. But say, in the next 2 hours or so, once we get on it, it's going to be some heavy rain that's going to roll through the afternoon into the evening hours. Thunder and lightning, flooding is going to be our main concern. Now, over to Jesse in Studio K.
Jennifer is a social worker with the Freeman Geriatric Center. And Jennifer, thanks for joining us this morning. I want to ask you about the caregiver support group that you're spearheading here. Can you sort of explain who is benefiting from this program and what caused you guys to decide this was something that Freeman wanted to start doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are approximately 65.7 million caregivers. That is about 29% of our adult U.S. population. So after learning that information and attending several sessions on caregiving, our team got together and discussed what caregivers go through and how important it is for them to have support in addition to the individual they're providing care to.
What are some of those stresses that you guys have identified, and what are some sort of, I guess, how can sharing those stresses be helpful in the process? Because I know there's a wide range of scenarios in which people are caregiving. So what have you guys seen, and how does sharing that make it a little bit easier?
Yeah, so caregiving can be challenging and stressful and even overwhelming at times, not only physically taxing, but also mentally and emotionally. And throughout my years as a social worker in the healthcare field, I've witnessed the impact that a caregiving role can have on an individual. I've had several even report feelings of guilt, as if they feel like they can't do enough or wish they could do more. And I'm always having to remind them that not only are they balancing their own lives, but they're balancing the huge responsibility of a caregiver. And they're doing just the very best that they can. And it's so very important that they hear that, because it's so easily forgotten.
Right.
And, these individuals, they need support, camaraderie. They often need reminded of the importance of self-care. And sometimes they just need to feel normalized, needing to know that others too have or are struggling with this role.
There's so many benefits to this, clearly. So these meetings are every third Thursday, and it starts this Thursday, so March 25th. So we'll have that info on our website. Jennifer, thanks so much for sharing the information about this. And it sounds like it's a phenomenal effort that will definitely continue on way beyond the pandemic and everything else.
Yes, we hope so.
Hey, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. We'll have that on our website. We'll be right back on the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Topping Healthwatch this morning, after receiving the COVID-19 vaccine, you may get potential side effects. Cassie Fambro spoke with a doctor to help explain what side effects are normal and which ones you should contact your doctor about.
Soreness at the site of injection, or sometimes redness or other symptomatology at the local site.
The Alabama Department of Public Health has been tracking vaccination data, including side effects, since December, when the first doses of vaccine were administered. Dr. Karen Landers says that severe after effects are extremely rare, but there are some common flu-like reactions reported.
And some people may have fever or chills or fatigue or muscle aches or joint aches.
Those icky feelings after the vaccine usually only last 24 hours. But if they last longer, you should call your doctor.
They could have some other illness. We've had people contract COVID after their first dose of vaccine.
All 3 current vaccines have generally the same risk of after effects, but she says again, it typically does not last very long.
Cassie Fambro reporting. Doordash is about to start delivering more than just food. The food delivery service says it will begin delivering COVID-19 home test kits to people's homes. They're partnering with 2 U.S.-based digital health companies, Everlywell and Vault Health. The partnership will allow Doordash customers to order the testing kits directly from the company's app in some areas. The Vault Health testing kit is a saliva test which will involve supervision from a staffer over Zoom and cost $119. Everlywell testing kit is $109 and is a self-administered nasal swab which can be done unsupervised. A new poll shows most parents are worried the pandemic is making their kids fall behind in school. According to the poll from the University of Chicago Harris School of Public Policy, the Associated Press Nork Center for Public Affairs Research, 69% of parents are at least somewhat concerned their children will face setbacks. 42% say they are very or extremely worried. 64% of parents say they are at least somewhat concerned in-person instruction will lead to more COVID-19 infections. Last week, the CDC relaxed its social distancing guidelines in schools, allowing desks between students to go to 3 feet from 6 feet. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Our Thursday morning rain. We haven't picked up any lightning, and it really hasn't come down too hard as of yet. Look at what's off to the east, though. That's a mess that they're going to have to put up with throughout portions of northeast Arkansas, up into the Boot Heel, and just on the other side of the Mississippi. That's where we'll see most of the severe weather for the U.S. today. For us, we are just going to have to experience some pockets of heavy rain, especially once we get around the noon hour. Look at this thing generate from the south. Once it gets on us there, especially when it gets through southwest Missouri, it's going to intensify as it moves off to the east. So our biggest threat is going to be additional flooding before it's finally done, say, 6, 7 o'clock. And then we can finally get back into the 60s and 70s for Friday and Saturday.
Housing demands are going up in Joplin. Despite new construction, the city can't keep up. Plus, Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt is running for U.S. Senate. And a local hockey legend dies after a 2-vehicle crash.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach. Make sure you grab your rain slicker and have it ready for you because the rain is going to be coming through the day today.
Okay, slicker will keep your coat dry. What do you need for your shoes?
Your galoshes.
Thank you. Tanya's been on me all morning long saying, Michael, make sure you got your rain slicker, make sure you got your galoshes. I'm like, Tanya, I don't even think my grandparents used that terminology. I got you on that one, didn't I? 48 degrees is where we stand outside the mothership. The barometer is a fallen. The humidity is increasing as we have picked up some morning showers for the most part. No lightning. It hasn't been too torrential by any means, but look at what we got down to the south as it's going to continue to roll through. Temperatures ranging from the mid to high 40s right now. We'll keep our eyes down here by the Red River. This, as far as the continental United States goes, is where we'll see the most serious activity. It's already beginning right now. We haven't had many storm reports come out of this area, but it's a long way from being over as everything's going to push on the other side of the Mississippi. Like I said, for us, we'll concentrate on the Gulf moisture coming out of Texas along the Red River. Weather trend, not much of a temperature mover today. It's more important just how much rain we're going to pick up, about 3/4 to an inch of additional rainfall. Still have a flood warning for the Osage River that just keeps on being extended. Probably going to see it extended into Sunday here by the time we're said and done, and expect the rain to continue through until about 7, 8 p.m. Really going to pick up here about 10 to 11 a.m. from the south and then last until, say, 6, 7, 8. So just be prepared for it to be there on your way home as well. If you got plans on your lunch break, anything like that, yeah, that's just try to stay dry. Friday, Saturday, not looking too bad at all, 69 and 70. Are you happy that you were able to insert slicker and galoshes into
just for
your
you?
intro?
Just for you.
my old man terminology.
It's all right. We'll let you have this one. The number of available homes in the area is not keeping up with the demand, which is making it difficult for some buyers to find their dream home. Charles Burt with Charles Burt Realtors says interest rates are very low right now, making home financing more affordable. But there are very few homes to finance. And Burt says 5 years ago they had 1,200 listings for available homes in the area. This year there's only about 300. Despite all the new construction, Joplin's Planning and Development Director Troy Bolander says space is limited.
It is getting tight for residential lots. We do have some residential plats that are coming in and being approved by Zoning Planning Commission, City Council, but the inventory is getting tight in Joplin.
Because of the fact that people can't find existing homes, a lot of them are picking the new construction because then they could have it built. The issue there is that, once again, you can only build them so fast.
Charles Burt also owns Mo Land Co., a construction company, and he says so far they're keeping pace with the demand for new home construction in the area. Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmitt is running for U.S. Senate. Schmitt announced yesterday that he's making a bid for retiring U.S. Senator Roy Blunt's seat. Schmitt faces a primary against former Missouri Governor Eric Greitens, a former Navy SEAL officer who rose quickly to become governor before scandal forced him out of office just a year and a half into his first term. Schmitt, in a written release, pushed his conservative credentials and rallied against the radical left. Schmitt was appointed Attorney General after Senator Josh Hawley left the seat to join the Senate. Voters gave Schmitt another term as the state's top attorney in 2020. You can help raise funds for your favorite area charity and help it win some prizes. Ozarks Day was Wednesday, and more than 150 area nonprofits were raising funds. And during Give Ozarks Day, the organizers gave away luck of the draw prizes every hour worth $5,000 each. And for every unique donor to an agency during that hour, agency gets another entry into the drawing. Now, you still have time to participate. This event will run until 7 o'clock this evening as well, I guess. You can view the participating agencies and donate at giveozarks.org. COVID-19 pandemic is hurting some community newspapers. One in the Kansas City area has lost nearly half its business. So the paper is sending out a message. Alan Shope reports its front page for Wednesday is blank.
We got calls almost immediately.
It's Wednesday's front page of the Northeast News.
I just want to let you know there's nothing on your front page. I hope you know that.
No important headline, no big story, nothing.
This edition, this is the most important thing for this paper.
For 23 years, Michael Bushnell has been covering the stories that matter to Northeast Kansas Cityans. And Wednesday morning's edition, Michael says, might be the biggest story he's never printed.
This is what it looks like when a community has no newspaper.
It's an example, Michael says, of how COVID has hit every business hard and how a voice of the community might soon be silenced.
Community journalism is what we live for.
Just a month ago, the Jackson County Advocate closed its doors after 55 years.
It sends a punch to the gut.
That's why he wanted to send a punch back.
What happens if we do nothing? What happens if we put nothing on the front page and send that message?
It's a paper that's been covering its own backyard for nearly 90 years, and Michael says the next 60 days might determine just how much longer they can continue to do local stories here.
We don't know what the next 60 days holds.
The paper has always been a free one, and he's considering other options, but adds it's become a national issue.
This is repeated daily across the country.
Michael says the paper did not qualify for the second round of government payments. He's hoping to build his digital presence to try to offset his losses. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News official press conference.
President Biden holds his first official press conference since taking office. I'm Elise Preston with a look at the issues he's expected to address.
Plus, as we've been telling you, it's International Waffle Day, and for our Something to Talk About, we're asking, what's your favorite breakfast food? We let you weigh in. But first, it's 6:37.
Here comes the rain up from the south. That's the sweeping radar that we're looking at, looking for the intensity of it as it rides right along the Oklahoma-Arkansas state line and makes its way north toward our highlighted counties. Temperatures right now mid-40s and really not a whole lot of movement on that. Finally be done probably about 7, 8 o'clock tonight, and then we can prepare for warmer temperatures on Friday and Saturday. We'll come back with Nationwatch right after this.
Look,
Topping Nationwatch this morning, it has been 64 days since President Biden took office. He'll give his first official press conference today from the East Room of the White House. Among the expected topics that will be covered, COVID-19, guns, and immigration. CBS's Elise Preston has more.
President Biden is holding the first press conference of his presidency today. Mr. Biden is expected to promote his coronavirus relief bill and his administration's success in ramping up the vaccination effort.
100 million shots before my first 100 days in office. We did it in about 60 days.
Since the press conference was announced last week, there have been 2 mass shootings that have claimed the lives of 18 people in Georgia and Colorado.
It's so sad that we have to lose lives in order to, motivate people and get our legislators back to talking about it.
With action from Congress unlikely, the White House is considering at least 3 executive actions: strengthening background checks, blocking the sale of gun-making kits, and providing more funding to fight gun violence.
No one is talking about overturning or changing the Second Amendment.
Also expected to come up today, immigration at the southern border, which Mr. Biden's critics say has turned into a crisis on his watch.
The Biden administration has lost control of the southern border.
Yesterday, President Biden tapped Vice President Harris to work with Mexico and Central American countries on the issue.
Needless to say, the work will not be easy, but it is important work.
Mr. Biden will also likely discuss North Korea. This morning, the country test-fired its first ballistic missiles since he took office. Elise Preston, CBS News.
President Biden has gone the longest of any president in the last 100 years before giving his first proper press conference, and though he has taken some questions at other events. Colorado massacre suspect Ahmed El Issa is expected to make his first court appearance today. Investigators continue to search for a motive in the shooting that left 10 dead at a Boulder supermarket. CBS News has learned that Elisa's mental health is being looked at as a potentially significant factor in the rampage. A U.S. official tells CBS News that 2 missiles North Korea has fired are most likely short-range ballistic missiles. If so, that would be a violation of UN resolutions and a small ratcheting up from last weekend's launch of 2 short-range cruise missiles, which are not banned by sanctions. A new AstraZeneca report out Wednesday updates the data on how well its coronavirus vaccine works. The drug giant now says its vaccine is 76% effective in preventing symptomatic disease and 100% effective against severe or critical disease or the need for hospitalization. AstraZeneca says its vaccine is 85% effective in preventing symptoms in volunteers ages 65 and older. That's a look at today's top national stories. Let's check back in with Michael for something to talk about.
It happens to be International Waffle Day. But before we get there, I want to tell you about the spring break sweepstakes and the code word, because today's code word is morning. MORNING. So now that we know the code word, and it is indeed morning, head to KOAMnewsnow.com/code word. Go ahead and enter it, and that's going to put you in the drawing for a chance to win a special prize from our good friends at Indigo Sky Casino. Now, I'd suggest you do it right now. I mean, I understand if you want to do it before the, maybe a little bit later on. Just get it done before the end of the morning news on Fox 14. So you got until 8 a.m. Once again, the code word is morning. KOAMnewsnow.com/code word. Now, as I was saying, with it being International Waffle Day, our Facebook question is, what's your favorite breakfast? Michelle Pacini, good morning, KOAM and Mama. We say good morning, Michelle. Best homemade waffles ever are made from the old cast iron. You know, where the iron was greased with lard, Crisco with brushes, and waffle gets that little layer of crisp, especially around the edge. Them waffles, I do know those waffles, Michelle. I do. Becky Mingarelli, she wants bacon. John Trebian, smart man. My wife is the best cook in the country. Everything she makes for breakfast is delicious. Good morning, KOM. Good morning, America. And we say good morning, John. And Mrs. Trebian, we know that you spoiled John as well, ma'am. Instapoll this morning, we finally got some votes for waffles on International Waffle Day, but pancakes still our runaway winner with 35% of the vote. You can make your voice heard. Go to komnewsnow.com/vote. We'll be back. Celebrate birthdays and anniversaries right after this.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Staff Sergeant Chris Hargis, who was a member of the United States Army. He served from 2003 to 2005 in Iraq, his hometown, Joplin, Missouri. We are proud to salute Chris Hargis, our four-state hero.
Now, if anybody needs some wardrobe tips, I'm going to tell you right now, you go find Grantham Bishop. He's up in Nevada. He's celebrating his 7th birthday. But if it's ever one of those things where you're like going through the closet and you're like, I'm not sure what I should wear today, well, I'll tell you what, when that kid can rock that and look that good doing it, that's who I use for my wardrobe tips. Grantham, a very, very happy birthday, dude.
All right, we've got Cade Hutto turning 8 years old this year. Cade is in Columbus.
He's got the blue and red rocking. I need to learn from these kids, man. That's all I know. Kelly Wilson, an 8th birthday. What's in her hand there? I'm too far.
It's a baseball bat.
That's what I thought it was. Hold on. You know if we got a hitter on our hands, I'm gonna talk about it. Oh yeah, it is. I see it. Kelly, go rake this spring, man. Go hit a couple off the fence for me.
There you go. There you go. We'll turn in 78 years old. We've got Judy Garner celebrating in Pittsburgh. Happy birthday, Judy.
In Mulberry, Mr. Bill Sweezy is celebrating his 89th birthday. Mr. Sweezy, a very, very happy birthday to you.
And we'll head down to Riverton to celebrate birthday with Jared Newman.
Kevin and Dee Westerholt, they're celebrating their 32nd anniversary. Looks like we had a little vacation time. Congratulations to Kevin and Dee. The fact that it's overcast and raining on this Thursday makes me look at that picture and know that, warmer times are coming.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love that. All right, we've got Jay and Debbie Evans celebrating their 43rd anniversary. Look at them having fun there.
That's a
Love
cool
that
picture right there.
Jay and Debbie are in Columbus.
That's good. Myron Babb, a happy 66th birthday. Myron's in Miami. Kelsey Krumsick, a very happy birthday to you. And I got a special shout out right here in Carl Junction. Bridget Gilmore celebrating the big number 22. Bridget, a very, very happy birthday from all of us here at KOAM. Will York, thanks for getting Bridget's birthday on there, my man.
All right, we've also got Larry Charles Sr. and Carolyn Williams, who are celebrating their 42nd anniversary today. Congratulations to them.
A very happy birthday and happy anniversary to all on this March 25th. That's where you can send them into, whether it be via email, birthdays@koamtv.com, or if you'd like to use the internet route, koamnewsnow.com/birthdays. Now, here's Tanya Bach with a very important birthday announcement.
That's right. You can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club. All you have to do is go to our website and sign up. And once you do, you'll get special deals from local businesses. Go to koamnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today.
Spring break sweepstakes, it is underway, and we still got another day to go. All you have to do is watch the KOAM morning news. Also, too, don't forget, 7 o'clock, we move over to Fox 14, KOAM morning news on Fox 14. Each and every morning, we throw out what's known as the code word. Once you have it in your mind, you go to koamnewsnow.com/code word, enter it, and a chance to win some wonderful prizes from our good friends at Indigo Sky Casino. You have until 8 a.m. to get that code word in there. And remember, if you missed it, we're going to roll it again tomorrow.
All right, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. President Biden is set to hold the first news conference of his presidency this afternoon. CBS News will air a special report covering the event from the White House. In addition to the pandemic, it's likely the president will face questions about the economy, the border crisis, and gun control. A new AstraZeneca report out Wednesday has updated the data on how well its coronavirus vaccine works. The drug giant now says its vaccine is 76% effective in preventing symptomatic disease and 100% effective against severe or critical disease or the need for hospitalization. AstraZeneca says its vaccine is 85% effective in preventing symptoms in volunteers ages 65 and older. The number of available homes in the area is not keeping up with the demand, making it difficult for some buyers to find their dream home. Charles Burt with Charles Burt Realtor says interest rates are very low right now, making home financing more affordable. But there are very few homes to finance, and Burt says 5 years ago they had 1,200 listings for available homes in the area. This year, there's only about 300. Despite all the new construction, Joplin's Planning and Development Director Troy Bolander says space is limited. The St. Louis community loses a hockey legend. Bob Plager is dead after a two-vehicle crash yesterday on Interstate 64. Local police say Plager was rushed to a hospital from the scene but did not survive. The Ontario native was a member of the St. Louis Blues inaugural team during the 1967 season. He suited up for the Blues for 11 of his 14 years in the National Hockey League. After hanging up his skates, Plager still was part of the Blues in various ways, including head coach and special assistant to the general manager. Plager, who ranks 7th in Blues history with 615 games played, was 78 years old. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
We are underway for our Thursday morning, looking at anywhere from 3/4 to an inch of rain before it's all said and done. And while it's remained light this morning, that's the action that we'll really pay attention to as it works its way across the Red River, up through Oklahoma, and then heads our way. So it's going to pack a little lightning with it as well by the afternoon. Here's our weather trend. Temperatures stuck in the high 40s, low 50s. Really, it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be how much rain can our ground take. I don't think hail or wind is going to be an issue. It's going to be more so coming off of our flood warnings from last week, right there through southwest Missouri. I can see those being extended into the weekend. And speaking of the weekend, look at the temperatures though. At least we get to cut down on our rain chances, and we're right back into the high 60s, if not 70s, for Friday and Saturday.
All right. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making an easy peasy pea salad in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
That so should rank on our list of phrases. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine that recipe came from...
Yeah, and that one came from you. Like, I'm the culprit 99% of the time.
That one came from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Never mind that. If it came from Howard, I'm not... Yeah, take it off our list. If it came from Howard, it's just fine by me.
What if it came from his mother or his grandmother? There you go.
That's my point. If it came from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, no, take it off the list. It's perfectly acceptable. Or Patty or Kelly. See? Extended Howard family. Your morning news continues on KOAM. We've got the CBS Morning News. That's coming up next.
I wonder if he's going to say, ooh, we found an easy peasy way to say, ooh, it's so good. Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues.
Because you don't know what other old man sayings I may come up with in the next hour. I want to thank you all for joining us. Have a great, safe Thursday. We'll do this all again tomorrow morning.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.